Yeah, just a quick review of the Activivas Ortho support. So this support, or you call it a brace, is made specifically for people who have pain or problems or arthritis in the CMC joint, and that's the lower joint in your thumb. CMC joint is also called your carpometacarpal joint. So a lot of people as they get older do develop CMC arthritis or carpometacarpal joint arthritis. So the idea here is that you put the brace on and it supports the joint and it restricts its motion. So that way the joint has a chance to kind of rest, recover, and not get stressed out so much as you're doing things. A few points about this particular brace. The strap is washable. So you can actually take this off and you can throw it in the washer and wash it. This part is pretty much, you can just kind of rinse it off. So you won't have any trouble there. So it's kind of like hand cleaning, but it's real easy because it's like a plastic kind of material. But this actual part here is machine washable, which on a lot of these braces and supports I'm seeing, they aren't machine washable, so that's really nice. The other thing is this does have a bendable metal strip around it, so you can actually kind of customize how much pressure you want. So you just kind of squeeze it, and then it puts it's actually down here. So you squeeze that, and then you can get a little more support if you need it. So permanent temporary relief, how does it work? Well, a lot of times braces, they mainly work while you have them on. When you take them off, there's not really that much carryover, which is kind of what you expect. If you have something like CMC joint arthritis, arthritis is kind of a chronic condition. So you kind of need to do several things really to get to where you want to be. So let me show you a couple other things that you can do besides the brace. This is in the Healthy Thumb Handbook. So if you do have problems in the joint, a lot of times the muscles react to what's going on in the joint, okay? And so not only do you have joint pain, but you also have muscular pain. So more than likely a component of the pain you're having is not just from the arthritis, it's muscular pain. So muscles, when they get irritated, they develop these things called trigger points. So what you can do, these are irritable spots in the muscle that you can kind of work out using certain techniques. And sometimes actually, even though you have arthritis, you can have asymptomatic thumb arthritis, and really the problem is all with the muscles. So it's always good to try and treat the muscles first and try and iron out any muscular component of your pain you might have. If you do have CMC joint arthritis, you're also at risk for your web space getting really tight. So you want to make sure that you keep that stretched out. And there's also a simple distraction technique you can do for your thumb. Arthritic joints that are overworked, they just love distraction because basically what you're doing is you're just taking all the pressure off the joint. And that's like a vacation for the joint. And it has time to rest and recover. It just feels good and gets rid of pain. So there's a simple distraction technique you can do in standing. Getting maximal thumb joint stability. A lot of people don't know this, but there's actually a couple muscles here that attach to that joint that can strengthen, get more stability in that joint. This is your abductor pollicis longus. As you can see, that sucker attaches right to the CMC joint, so it supports the joint. So this book advocates doing an exercise using a rubber band for progressive resistance. So week by week, as you get your abductor pollicis longus stronger and stronger, you're going to get more stability in the joint. And it's also going to be dynamic stability. In other words, you're going to get more control over the joint as you're using it. You're going to keep everything in place. And that all equals less pain. And the other muscle you want to do is your first dorsal interossei. Here again, attaches right around there where the joint is. So really, these exercises, they take a couple minutes to do. You do 2 of them, that's probably less than 5 minutes a day. And honestly, you really only need to do them a couple times a week to gain strength if you're using the progressive resistance that the book recommends. So week by week, you get these muscles stronger, you get more strength, more support, more control over the joint, you're going to have less pain. So anyway, but nothing's as quick as putting a brace on. You put this on, instantly immobilizes it, restricts its motion, and you're feeling better. So yeah, it's a good brace. Check it out.